Another month, another Patreon exclusive show. This is Choose Our Own Adventure. I guess this is like the first official Choose Our Own Adventure for all you Paprika Patreon peoples. At the $7 tier or higher, you're getting this joint. I appreciate it. We have 4 people that's going to go on this adventure with us. We have myself, and who is to my right?
Your right, not your left. Your right.
Yeah, this is my right.
Yes.
Yes. Who is to my right? That's you. Who are you?
Well, I am Jerron Jackson. You may know me from such podcasts as this.
You're also a Test Your Mic competitor.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, the Sterling 1-0 record.
You guys may have heard of the Germontourage.
Germontourage.
That's a thing too.
Yeah, the
or
leader.
trying to. Yes.
Oh, very nice.
I don't have one of those.
Yeah.
You gotta get one of those.
You know, I want to get to the point where I have enough people in the Germontourage where you never actually truly meet me.
I heard he's a thing. He's a legend. And
Yeah, like they have the mouth of Sauron. I speak on that.
and who's across the table from me?
Leslie, that would be me. Hooray.
Hooray, Leslie is one of the hosts, the primary host of the Weekly Profit podcast. So thank you for coming. I see you're rocking your Slytherin jacket. Is that a Slytherin jacket you got on, or is that just a green jacket?
It's actually just a green jacket. I am rocking the Star Wars shirt.
Okay.
No Slytherin rep today.
Looks like I'm the only one not wearing a nerd shirt here today. And who's to my left?
Brian Martin.
Another competitor in the Test Your Might. 2 1-0s.
Yeah,
You got
wow.
over here. Yeah, you
This
guys.
is
might-
Table of Champions.
Yeah. Champion of a 1-0 record. Is that all it took?
A win's a win.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
W's a W. Speaking of Test Your Might, I did an episode earlier today, and I totally need to reformat how round 1 goes. Because the way that shit's looking right now, it's that's not going to work.
Get a little out of hand there.
Yeah, it'll look a little out of hand. It's a lot out of hand. That's what the hell it is. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to, instead of doing the whole Jeopardy business, which just leaves the person who goes second just sitting there filing their nails, waiting until somebody gets an answer wrong, I think it's going to be just 10 questions to you and 10 questions to you, and then we go on to round 2, whatever the case may be. I think that might prove a bit more fruitful.
Even out the playing field a little bit.
Even out the playing field a little bit. I was
Okay.
gonna introduce that like down the road after we'd done like this whole first round, and Doug Davidson, who competed earlier today, he's like, "Fuck it, just change it now. Who cares who lost?" So
Maybe give the other person a chance to steal. Like if one of your 10 questions you don't know the answer to, the other person can maybe answer that question correctly, but then it immediately goes back to that first
ooh,
person.
all right, I like that
you know?
idea. That's not bad.
So the question's not a total waste.
Yeah.
I love that Doug, before we did today's Test Your Might, he's like, "Fuck it, who cares who loses?" And then he went on to lose. But it was much more entertaining. So it's October, gang. It's October. Everybody's getting into the Halloween frame of mind. I'm gonna put this out to the table. What is the best Halloween candy? Like, what shit did you go for as a kid?
Oh man, Halloween candy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what's your go-to candy now? What's the best candy out there?
Reese's, man.
Reese's Cups.
Reese's. Yes.
100%.
Reese's is for the win,
Reese's,
man.
motherfucker. What
All
about you,
day.
Leslie?
That's it.
I have to agree.
Unanimous.
What's better? Nothing is better than that.
Now,
chocolate and peanut butter, man. There's nothing goes better.
see what we used to do back in the day. Me and my cousin would go trick or treating, and we go through my neighborhood. Then we go through his neighborhood, which we lived with my grandma at the time. So we would stop, at the end at my grandma's house, and she always had the M&Ms, the peanut M&Ms.
Yes.
No.
I love them. You don't fuck with the peanut M&Ms?
Oh man,
Like the peanut butter or the peanut?
just the peanut.
Just the peanut?
This
Oh,
is
that's
back in the day,
okay.
like this was before peanut
peanut
butter
before
came
peanut
in.
butter, yeah.
They hadn't figured
It
out
was
how
just
to
plain
get
and
it that
peanut.
small yet.
Yeah.
They had to summon the ghost
Yeah,
of
yeah.
George Washington Carver.
Yeah, there was Reese's Pieces all that time.
So you don't get down with the peanut M&Ms, Leslie?
Not really. I mean, I'll eat them, but I prefer either milk chocolate, dark chocolate, or the peanut butter's all right. The mint Ooh, get some
fuck?
dark
Oh, there's a
chocolate.
mint.
and
Mint?
get the-
There's a
Yeah,
mint
I haven't
M&M.
had the mint one yet.
yeah.
Are you sure this wasn't a dream you had one night?
Well, I know I've seen the bag. It's like all white and green, right?
Yeah, it usually comes out around the specific holidays and stuff, though.
Like nowish.
The mintiest of
Probably.
holidays.
Probably.
So
It's probably
Christmas,
pumpkin
maybe.
spice now.
Definitely,
Yeah, right.
Oh, fuck
definitely
outta here.
Christmas.
Okay.
But I mean, I've seen it with sports logos on it before, so it's just sort of a yeah.
I
How
used
have
to-
you not ever had it before? It's amazing.
I've never even heard this was a thing because usually well, it's been a while since I just like bought a bag of M&Ms.
Look, I think I think like our parents' generation kind of lost track of the technological revolution, and they all just gave up at some point around VHS and said, "This is about where I'm drawing the line." I feel like we kind of did that with candy to a degree, right?
Yeah, like, fuck all the
like
new
candy,
candies.
we were like everything. It's like M&Ms. It's peanuts.
Peanut and plain.
There's
Yeah,
plain.
that was it.
You know, everything. It's just this is what it is. And then
Yeah.
at some point around the Bunch of Crunch era, like everything started changing so rapidly. Where we
Yeah.
used to have to wait 10 years for this next revolution in
Yeah.
candy. Now it's like 3 months, and
Yeah,
we've got
it's
like
like
15
peanut butter,
different types of.
almond, pretzel,
when the peanut butter
caramel.
came
Like
out,
it's
man.
like yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what happened to
Same
us.
thing with the Oreos nowadays. Like
Oh, the Oreos just don't even bother. Just
that's
I-
science.
there-
we
there's
shouldn't
some-
be meddling
yeah,
with.
there are some gems out there.
I
though.
got Rocky Road Oreos. The
How
other
are they?
day. They're delicious.
The
they've put the marshmallow into the cookie part.
Oh, fuck them. I
Oh.
was showing off.
oh, I'll tell you, I recently had the was it chocolate peanut butter pie Oreos changed my life.
What? I'm going
The
to
cookie,
the
the
store
cookie is
immediately.
graham cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys can handle this
It's
podcast
the
on your
business.
own.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
get
going
up
to
outta
something.
here. Get my dinner in the back order.
So we'll be back next time on the Week in Candy.
That's been our candy segment. So, what's the best scary movies? Everybody's getting into the scary movie shit. Like I don't understand scary movies. I don't like being scared. I don't understand why anybody wants to be scared. It's a concept I am unfamiliar with, and I will never ever be able to get down.
It's like
with.
riding a roller coaster, I think. It's like well, I mean, to the degree that you know you'll survive a movie for the most part, unless it's that god awful video from The Ring.
Exactly.
But a roller coaster, you know, maybe you'll die, but the odds are pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just that adrenaline rush, I think. And there's a difference to me between like a horror suspense movie and like a horror slasher movie.
slasher.
You know,
Like,
like
you put them
slasher
in two
movies
completely different
do
categories.
very little for me in terms of like feeling any real kind of. I end up laughing a lot at it. Like when I saw Hostel for the first time, and
Eli Roth.
there's that scene at the end where that woman's eye is out, and he like kind of takes the scissors and cuts it off, and then all that mustard comes out of the socket, and I'm like, "Bah!"
Oh, jeez.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
There's an Asian woman. She's got mustard eye at the end.
Okay.
But favorite horror movie of all time, The Exorcist.
Exorcist?
I don't think anything touches it.
Leslie?
Well, I definitely agree on his take with it being
On mustard eyes or?
on why people like horror movies.
Oh, okay.
Nobody wants mustard eye.
You just got to be directed by Eli Roth to give it.
I mean, you're scared, but it's that safe kind of scared. Like, I love going to haunted houses because I like that feeling that something could scare me, something could jump out, there's something unexpected. But I know that they can't touch me. They might get right in my face, like this clown did at this really fucking scary one. But he couldn't touch me, so I just
Show's
kind
not
of
for kids.
inched my way in between two friends, blocked him off. But yeah, it's that safe, scared
I
feeling.
don't understand this at all. I don't understand it at all. So you going with The Exorcist? What are you
Oh
going
no.
with?
Gosh, I don't even know.
Let me put this in perspective. I watched the last time I tried to watch Shining. It was 2 p.m. and the sunlight was streaming in, and I was still like, you know what? No, this is not for me. This is not for me. Turn that joint off. I haven't seen it since. That was 2003, by the way.
The first time I watched The Exorcist, uncut. I'd seen it on like TBS or something, and they cut out most of the movie. It's like a 30-minute cut.
Yeah,
It's like
commercial
Passenger
break.
57. It's like
Always been
an
on black,
hour
though.
and you're done. But the first time I watched it uncut, I was over at a friend's house. We just put it on while we were playing board games.
Yeah.
And he left to go to the bathroom at one point. It's just me and my buddy sitting there, and we're finally paying attention to the movie. And it's the first instance of the like single frame demon face that pops up 3 times.
Yeah.
And we're like, holy shit, did you just see that? The game was over at that point. And driving home at 3 a.m, it was foggy as hell.
Nope, nope,
Like,
nope, 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 nope,
Yep,
nope,
well,
nope.
that sealed it.
That's weird because I own Exorcist and I don't really find it all that scary. What about you, Jermon? What you got? What's your scary joint?
See, I'm not a big horror buff myself either. That's just like I don't go to the theater to feel that. Like
Shit, being black in America. is-
yeah, that's enough right there. Yeah, let me tell you about it. No, I think the one that really stuck with me back in the day was the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
All right,
Like,
that's a
that
good
was
one.
just
Yeah.
the whole. This is a
Yeah.
concept that is terrifying. Like not being able to go to sleep. Like
Yeah.
It's really rewarding now watching it because you get to see Johnny Depp
Johnny
horribly
Depp.
murdered.
yeah.
It's like, wow, there's something really cathartic about
There's
it.
some gold in here. I remember the Poltergeist fucking the episode.
Yes.
That came on TBS at 6:05.
Yeah, right.
And I was just like, yo, what the shit is this, son? I was like maybe 8 or 9, and nope. After that, I was like, I'm done with whatever these are.
The funniest thing about that movie is like the creepiest part of it is like one of the heroes. When Zelda Rubinstein comes in and this little midget lady, like,
house is clear.
what is with her?
Oh, so we found the monster, right? The movie's over. Right? So why are we invited into the house? So this choose our own adventure. If you donated at the $10 mark of the Patreon, you get to make a decision, which is why the show is called Choose Our Own Adventure, and choosing the topics we talk about. And boy, was that a bad idea. Before we get any further, thank you. My biggest gratitudes for those who donated on Patreon, and also it's sad that you couldn't find anything else to spend your money on. Before we get anything else,
Terrible.
Oh, don't fuck with the
Daredevil
money.
season 3 dropped today.
Yes.
You've seen one episode,
I saw the first episode. Yes.
and you haven't seen any, right?
I did not see it.
And Leslie, have you seen anything?
Finished it right before I jumped in the car to
The
get
first
here.
episode? Okay, so I've also seen just the first episode. Oh,
You can spoil it. I'm going to watch it when I get home.
so Matt Murdock is in it.
Oh man,
Dun, dun,
ruined
dun.
it. Ruined
I
it.
don't know
Ruined
if you knew
it.
that or not.
You know, if I had not seen the Return of the King-esque ending of Defenders, it's like, hey, it looks like we're done. 20 minutes go by and we're still not done. I'd be a little bit surprised.
Yeah, that's strange
But,
enough he is
yeah.
in there. What do you guys think so far? Are you like, oh, we're back to form on this joint?
I kind of felt like, it was, I guess they were kind of setting the stage again for, of course, the eventual collision between Daredevil and Kingpin and
Yeah.
kind of setting those pieces into motion. And it was, they actually left it in a pretty good place so far. Like, I was like, okay, this is cool seeing this. Like seeing, Mac literally try to get back on his feet. And
Yeah. What do you think about that FBI dude? I don't know
Um,
if he's gonna break good, break bad. I think he's gonna break bad.
of course. Like when I saw the whole setup, I was like, oh come on, he's about to turn. He's about
Oh
to.
yeah.
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 Absolutely.
What's the guy's
He-
name? Sorry. What's his
The
name?
FBI guy.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
I forget the dude's
I don't
name.
think he's
but-
an actual comic character.
Okay, because that's always the tell for me. I'm like, well,
You would have to look into it just to see if he was an actual like character from the comics or something.
Yeah, like for the longest, I couldn't remember that Billy Russo was Jigsaw and the Punisher joint, and I would just like, at the very end, he fucks up his face. I was like, that's kind of like Jigsaw. Wait a minute, that's right, he is Jigsaw.
or like Nuke on showing up on Jessica Jones.
Jessica
Yeah,
Jones,
they never
yeah.
actually refer to him. Yeah,
Yeah, just Samson or whatever his name was. What were you gonna say? What was it? Tell me about the FBI guy.
Oh, I feel like they left it in a spot where they're giving him the opportunity to try to be good with it, but I agree. He's gonna go bad.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
I feel sorry
he-
for him already. Got an incredible head of hair, that guy. All right, so stuff we're gonna be talking about, man. We might as well just get it kicked off. So Duquan Swint had this for us to talk about. Maybe this would be good for the two of us, Brian and German. Why is change in comics always met with negativity?
Oh
I know
boy.
this.
Oh boy.
I know the actual answer to this.
What is the actual answer to this?
The actual answer to this, and this was something when I used to edit for a pop culture site. One of my friends wrote an article about this very topic.
All right.
And his theory is that, we go to school, we learn about U.S. history, we learn about these things. Theoretically, we remember it. But what we remember more than anything is what happened in the Marvel Universe 10 years ago, right?
Right.
So we kind of hold certain truths about the continuity that we experience. So when something like, say, the Star Wars extended universe is thrown out the window, the fan base rebels.
Yeah.
So when the norm is changed or some sort of drastic change is made to continuity, the fan base rebels because, well, now I have to learn this all over again. There's this kind of thing in the back of your head, and it doesn't quite reconcile with the fact that what you're reading are, one, fictional stories.
True.
And two, those fictional stories still exist. You can still enjoy them, you know? But
Yeah.
it's like you want to be in the moment and aware of what's going on right now.
Yeah, I remember because Kevin Smith had spoken about this subject too. He was talking about how comics in general are always stuck in the second act. Like there's never really
Yeah, you
any
never
true
get any
progression.
closure.
Right.
Yeah. So anything that deviates from that looks like, oh my God, they're killing them. They're ruining my childhood and this and that. And it's like, that was like for me, my favorite run of X-Men was the Grant Morrison run because he actually did something progressive and
Yes.
left them in a different place from where they started.
Right,
And-
right.
I felt like Marvel was doing that with a lot of books at
Yeah.
the time. Like Amazing Spider-Man, you know,
Yeah.
he was not a newspaper guy anymore, he was a school teacher. I'm
Right.
like, I can
Yeah,
get down
yeah,
on this.
Yeah, he was like
They aged him
finally
up a little
Aunt May
bit.
finally found out about his identity. They had a whole new relationship because of
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah, Aunt May was 172 in that.
yes,
Love that. Love that.
now she's like 40.
No complaints. I noticed that these changes seem to happen more in Marvel than they do in. Although these changes only come in Marvel and DC.
DC always writes it into their, like, they reboot continuity. They find ways around it.
Yeah,
They
just
do
put
it
them in
on
a
a more
different
macro
Earth.
level. It
Theoretically,
seems.
like the Marvel universe we're experiencing now is the same Marvel universe the Fantastic Four launched the rocket from in '61, right?
Right.
And it's that sliding time thing. There's
Yeah.
never like a hard universe reboot, and even when there theoretically is like Secret Wars,
Loved it.
I loved that. Secret Wars was where I was like, okay, I'm kind of cashing out.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
much. what
didn't.
was like,
I didn't. I still read a few of the Marvel books, but I'm far less interested in them now than I was then.
It seems like all the changes, like Nazi Cap, like the female Thor, the Jane Foster Thor, Black Cap and Sam Wilson, or even fucking changing Carol Danvers' backstory. It all seems to happen more in Marvel, more overtly. DC's been killing them in sales lately. You think this is Marvel's just desperate attempt to grab new?
Maybe
readers?
it's like Republicans and Democrats. It's like there's just going to be this
Yeah.
ebb and flow.
Yeah.
But I think Marvel's changes. I think the backlash against them probably has more to do with the success of the movies, because that's the one thing they've got that DC hasn't quite gotten under their belt yet. Is
Yeah.
this successful film franchise, and a lot of the changes Marvel's made has been to sort of entice new readers. And a lot of old readers reject these things like female Thor and Nazi or Sam Wilson Cap
Yeah.
because they know
That's
two
not my
years down the road, whether they know it or not, sometimes they act like they're completely unaware and they haven't read a comic before. But in 2 years, Steve Rogers is going to be back.
yeah.
Odin's son is going to be back.
And-
you know,
It's sad.
I don't even
yeah.
want Odin's son back. Give me more Jane Foster.
It's sad to say that there is, I mean, there's a level of racism and misogyny in some of that too. Like some of these people are just like up in arms about these things. It's like, why are you changing? Why did you make Tony or Iron Man a young black girl and this and that? And like, why is Iceman gay now? And such. It's not the Marvel I remember.
Right.
They're just
Hey,
like,
the
make
things-
Marvel great again. It's like,
but hey, but Muslim Miss Marvel,
Yeah,
She's doing all right.
I
Yeah.
don't know anybody who has any problems with that.
Yeah.
no, that's crazy to me. But I mean, it's not, because it's a great book.
Great
Right.
book. G Willow for the win. Would you, Leslie, be interested in picking up a joint and you get invested in a character knowing that a couple years down the road they could completely change it and go in a whole different direction? Would you be like, why bother? Or what would you like? Say, for instance, Hawkeye. We had a great Hawkeye run, and you were like, all right, I'm going to read this Hawkeye run that everybody says is great, and then it turns left and goes into a completely different character that's Hawkeye. Would you still be as interested knowing that what you were about to be invested in isn't really going to matter?
I think it would depend on how complete the story feels. If I have not read any superhero comics. I've read other comics, but when it comes to Marvel and DC, I haven't read those. So theoretically, yes, I already know that. That's not why I stay away. But yeah, if I could go into it knowing that this story is fairly well self-contained, has character progression, has a good conclusion, or
A
some-
good self-contained story. You
Yeah.
can get in, get some kind of conclusion, and get out.
yeah,
Hawkeye,
and then if I want to keep
Yeah.
going, I can. If I don't want to, then awesome.
That's exactly how I feel, especially in superhero comics. I'm not a big fan of long spans. Just get in. Nate Edmondson did a 3-volume Black Widow. It got in, it told a story, they got out. Fraction did his 4-volume Hawkeye. Got in, told a story, got out. That's more Snyder's Batman run,
There was one of my favorite runs in I think it was in the last decade, was when Warren Ellis took over Secret Avengers for 6 issues.
Yeah.
Each issue was self-contained.
Okay.
And it was like, run the mission, save the world, get out without being seen was like the tagline for the book. And so every issue was like one issue kind of focused on Black Widow, and it was amazing. One issue kind of focused on Moon Knight a little bit more.
Yeah.
One was more about Cap, but they were all the whole team was there the whole time.
Yeah.
But beginning, middle, and end, every single issue, 6 issues, he's done, he's out, and it's like
that's what I'm talking about.
that's his Moon Knight run was kind of like that.
Yeah, his Moon Knight was just kind of episodic.
And
yeah,
Tom
that
King's
first
Vision
volume.
run, you kind of have to dig beneath the mainstream of Marvel and get to this sort of like the bargain basement characters to see where the real
That's
magic's
where the
happening.
great
Oh, yeah.
stories are right now. I don't
Like
understand.
I've been enjoying that new West Coast Avengers book.
Really?
Yeah.
People read that book?
Yeah.
It's got a good cast in it.
Yeah, it's got the cast is amazing in there. It's got both the Hawkeyes,
okay.
Gwenpool, Quentin Quire.
Quentin
Yeah.
Quire, no thanks.
But their whole dynamic is awesome. They, of course, they don't really get along too well, and
Yeah.
they're always constantly bickering, and they're not perfect like the Avengers. They have trouble getting funding and everything. They basically had to. That's Quentin Quire at the time, I guess, was doing like a reality show, so they basically have to.
got money, right?
Yeah, well, they basically have to have like cameras rolling around them now just to like get some funding to get headquarters,
That's
all
how
this stuff.
Civil War
That's the
started.
last. I was thinking the same thing. That's the same thing the New Warriors did.
Yeah.
All right, then. So let's hop over to. So Mike Manfredonia, the topic he chose for us to talk about is Stargate. He wants to know why Stargate is such an underrated franchise.
Because nobody watched it.
Well, the definitions of underrated is
rated exactly where he
yes.
wants to be.
I would just
So
right
it
there.
is a movie. I looked this up on a wiki because nobody actually knows this shit. They had a movie. They had the spin-off shows, right? They had the
Yeah.
Stargate SG-1 Atlantis universe, and then they started getting into like some web series like Origins, and they had some straight to DVD shit called Arc of Truth and Continuum. Did
So
anybody
I've
here know
heard-
that?
I've heard of all of those, but I could not have
Yes.
named them off the top of my
yeah.
head.
I have
Same.
literally seen the movie.
I
That's
love the movie. I
Richard Dean
love the
Anderson?
movie.
was in the TV
he's
show.
The show.
Oh,
Kurt
Kurt
Russell
Russell.
and James Spader were in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yes.
Oh, Ultron. That's
Was
right.
that a Roland Emmerich movie?
It
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was.
Gene Devlin, Roland Emmerich.
After Independence Day. I think.
Great score on that movie, by the way.
Is
The
it really?
score is terrific for that
have to
movie.
check that out.
That's about all I can say about it.
Yes.
I
So-
love it.
The movie? Yeah, I haven't watched it in a
Yes.
while.
It was
man.
cool. It was cool.
I think we need to go back and check this out, see if it holds up
It's
or
so
not.
fun. I definitely have nostalgia with that. So
Yeah?
I won't say it's a great, fantastic movie, but I will say I love that movie.
Okay, all right then. I haven't watched this movie in quite. When was the last time you remember the last time? Have you only seen it once or?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I watched a lot.
Like last Tuesday.
Not quite that
Big
recently.
Stargate.
It's one of those ones that I will sit down and I'll put it on in the background. It's just saved onto my PS3, and then
Okay.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll-
That's serious.
Yeah.
So at
I'll-
least been saved there within the last 10 years. If you go to Twitter and just search for hashtag Stargate, it's going to be just nothing but your tweets.
I don't love it that much.
Oh,
But
okay.
it was one of the first like new sci-fi movies that I remember watching and really liking, and
Yeah.
my friends and I were obsessed with it in middle school because that's what you do when you're in middle school. And
You obsessed about Stargate? That's not what I do when I
you
was in middle
obsessed
school.
about movies.
Okay, just not Stargate in particular, I guess, for me. Or were you just obsessing over Kurt Russell and his chiseled jaw?
Oh no, God,
No,
no!
no, no.
I had even back then I had a crush on the geeky one, James
James
Spader.
Spader?
Spader.
Which thinking about that now, I'm like, oh no,
You got a crush on Ultron, huh?
a
A little
little
smarmy.
bit.
He seems a little smarmy, but it's because of all that. What was it? Boston Legal. What was he
Boston
on?
Legal.
Yeah,
He's
see, this
smarmy
was
on
before
what,
that.
other
Blacklist.
show, Blacklist. He's,
Yeah.
he's just a smarmy dude.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he's not just typecast as smarmy. He just is.
Probably.
He's got that smarmy voice and that smarmy fucking balding hair.
Also, the actor that helped him was the character that was native to that planet. I don't remember. his name.
Oh, yeah. Man, it's been forever.
You have officially exceeded my knowledge of
Yes.
Stargate.
So do you think this shit is underrated, or is it just came and went by the wayside?
I watched maybe the first season of the first
Of
spin-off
SG-1,
show,
yeah.
and it wasn't that it was bad or anything. And granted, I did not watch it when it aired. Maybe a couple of years ago, I was trying to watch it, and it just was the same as any other Monster of the Week or Plot of the Week
I'll have
show.
to look up and
So
see what
Buffy or
else was
things like
on
that.
at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
If anybody comes in, tell them we got this shit till 8:15. All right.
I was thinking the exact thing.
All right. So Stargate SG-1 was 1997. So
Okay, yeah. So I was
the Next
watching.
Generation had come and gone.
It was over.
by that
we were in the
point, so
middle of Deep Space Nine.
Deep
at that
Space
point.
Nine was happening.
Voyager.
X-Files. Oh, X-Files was running TV.
Voyager
at that
had
point, right?
probably just started.
Yeah.
I think it was like 97, 98.
Yeah.
X-Files was in its 6th or 7th season at that point.
See, and I think I was watching
no
Buffy.
way.
And
Yeah,
I
it
was
started in
watching
like 93,
Dawson's
wasn't it?
Started in
Creek.
90. I remember watching a season 1 episode of the X-Files. No, it wasn't season 1. It was 93.
Yeah,
you're right.
all it
93,
was
94.
So it was in its
Yeah, okay, so
season
3rd, 4th season.
Season in
probably.
stride then. So
Because
there's
it was the movie. The movie dropped in 98. So
between 4
Yes.
and 5. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, no wonder. There's no one else want to watch that shit. There's other good shit on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like can all sci-fi shows be timeless? No. Does anybody talk about what was it, Babylon 5 anymore?
Nope.
No.
Yes.
And I think Stargate kind of falls into the same category. I
Yeah.
mean, those who love it.
Yes.
The rest of us are probably never going to visit it.
No.
Yes.
Probably has like more of a cult following, which would be
Yeah.
the definition of underrated, I guess.
They're like,
Yeah,
somehow
right,
Netflix crashed, and the only thing that people are able to watch is Stargate. I'd be like, well, I got a lot of books I got to read.
Oh.
I guess I'm not watching Netflix. All right, so Dave Torrey, ugh. He wants to talk esports.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, this is a mental exercise here.
Yes.
So basically, did a little bit of Googling to see what it's all about. It's literally just cats playing video games while other
Yeah.
cats commentate these joints. And at first I was like, well, that sounds fucking ridiculous. But it has a huge following to the point where there have been talks of including it in the Olympics coming down the road.
Whoa,
Come
okay,
on,
all
come
right,
on.
stop.
That's-
And
yes,
unless
yeah.
it's world-class track meet, and you got two dudes up on a stage
Yeah, on the power pad.
with their hands slapping the floor as fast as they can. I would watch that.
Yeah.
I'd
but-
watch Dance Dance Revolution.
Now, I
on
will
Olympics.
say, I never gotten into it very much, but I did watch some of the Smash Brothers Invitational
Yeah.
during E3, and it was incredible. Like, watching these guys do what they did with that game, I'm like, I've put in a lot of time into Smash Brothers games
Yeah.
over the course of 20 years, and what the hell is this? This is a totally different game than I've been playing. So there's something that's really interesting about watching that.
Yeah.
I cannot picture myself watching it for a game I'm not invested in, but I mean, a lot of people are invested in a lot of different games.
That's
so.
true. It seems
Like,
that they
like
seem like
an invitational thing for Fortnite seems like a crowd pleaser to me.
Yeah. I think the commentators do a good job of like keeping the energy up well and keeping it hype. So you're just like, holy shit, he did the blah 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 with the blue blue blue. I didn't know you did, I didn't know you did blue blue blue. I thought only character 3 could blue blue blue. So yeah, I will admit, so football ends in February and then preseason is August. That's a long stretch of time without football. So usually round about late July, early August, that's when I'm at my weakest point. and I will definitely put on Madden and just do computer versus computer,
Okay.
and just sit back and watch the game play out many a times.
I did not know that about you.
Just get a bag of Utz potato chips.
I sit there, I listen to the commentary, I crack open a couple of beers, and I'm like, how could you throw an interception? Like, I'm legit getting mad at people. I'm tweeting. I'm like, well, how could you do that? I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is just a computer simulated game. Yeah, I'm not going to say pretend I fully understand the greatness of esports, but, it is what it is. The last two we can kind of combine. Good old Vikram is asking about side quests in gaming. Like, what do you think about side quests in gaming? I guess it's for these open world games, right? You get your main mission.
Right.
And every person I know just decides to go fuck off and do other stuff. I don't know a single person that buys a game for whatever the game's intended purpose is. What's the purpose of side quests?
Well, for me personally, it's a good thing to do when, cause like, say I'm playing Grand Theft Auto or something like that,
Yeah.
and I get to a little snag somewhere, start getting frustrated or whatever, trying to complete a mission, can't do it. I can back up off of it a little bit,
Okay.
go do something else for a little bit until I, get myself together and
All right, get your head right.
yeah.
All right, then cool. What about
a
you,
good-
Leslie?
yeah.
You get into the open world stuff, right?
I do.
Are you a side quester?
Oh yes.
Yeah. What do you do with your side quests?
I use it as a way to just character growth in my head for RP purposes. And just to the world is there. I need to explore it. I need to see what's what. I've
Just
actually
sheer
just
curiosity.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You never know what beautiful thing you're going to find in a game if you don't go explore.
Ooh.
You never know what awesome fucking loot you're going to find in a dungeon if you don't go explore.
Truth. That's how I found the Hylian shield in Breath of the Wild. It's like, well, I don't want to go upstairs yet. Let's just look in the basement.
So you get your side game on, Brian?
Not often. I did virtually every side quest in Breath of the Wild because
Okay.
that world is just like you were saying. Like, you want to explore every part of it.
Yeah.
You want to see everything there is to see.
Yeah.
And when they finally released the DLC that had the Hero's Path option where you could retrace your whole steps through the game, I'm like, well, there's a spot I haven't looked at yet, and there's a spot I haven't looked at yet. But the stupidest thing, furnishing your house, buying a house, furnishing it, and then helping build an entirely new village in Breath of the Wild was one of the coolest side quests I've ever done.
That's not a
awesome.
side quest. That seems like a
That's life.
Yeah.
It took a solid week. Like, somebody, like my brother or somebody, was like, "So have you found Terrytown yet?" I'm like, "What the hell is Terrytown?" And I'm like, "I'm almost done with the game, and this hasn't happened because it never occurred to me to buy a house." So then I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll buy the house," and then it just puts you on this whole path, and I'm like, "Well, F Ganon, I guess I'm doing this now."
It just seems so weird and distracting to me, man.
But it's immersive.
Yeah.
You just get swept up in where your fingers take you. Huh?
Yeah, with RPGs, MMORPGs, where you actually have level progression, it can be harder to get the side quests done because you're out leveling the area, and then if you're trying to follow the main line, you're just tearing through it, which sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes you actually want to be challenged. So, but in other games where there aren't levels, your character progresses, but everything progresses with you. It's awesome because you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about out-leveling the monsters and all that stuff. You can just take your time and do what you want.
Has anybody seen Sword Art Online?
No.
No.
Seen it? No, I know of it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I watched the first season. I can't remember if there's any side quests that happen in there or if they're all just kind of stuck on their main quests. So Evan Peanut Butter, piggybacking off of that.
That's his real name.
This is his real name, Evan Peanut Butter. He pitched this question to us. Pitch your own open world video game based off of any intellectual property that's out there.
Wow. The Bible.
I've only got 38 days left to build this ark.
Need more frankincense to provide to the baby.
I was actually thinking about this a little bit, and I came up with a few that I
you
thought
got,
would
man?
be okay. I was thinking like going the Marvel route, maybe do something like the Punisher, where New York is all yours. You're a vigilante, or you can be. I guess you can be the Punisher main story, or of course, if you get an online mode, maybe you can create your own vigilante. You're taking out mob bosses, doing different hits and stuff like that. And,
Punching polar bears.
Yeah, of course.
Love that.
Of course. You get access to different weapons and tech and all kinds of stuff, and just do whatever. Go cut loose. And
Anything else?
Okay, and then I was thinking Tron.
Ooh.
Like just being able to see an open world, just the grid would be absolutely beautiful. You can do all the stuff that the old arcade gameplay, the light cycle stuff, the disc games, and all this. If you want to fuck off from the main missions.
All right then.
And of course, you have to have the Daft Punk soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that's just on constant loop.
Yeah. And then I was thinking like the granddaddy, of course, like Star Wars,
They've tried.
Just being able to you'd think it would be a no-brainer to be able to do just set it up like a
No Man's Sky, but it's Star Wars.
Yeah, or even if you want to get smaller, do it like a Grand Theft Auto, and just
Stay in
have a
Coruscant.
Jedi running around or whatever. You have your morality system where you go from depending on what you do throughout the game, you go from Jedi to Sith. Of course, knowing people know how they play, there'll be just a bunch of Sith running around all the time.
I was thinking a Blade Runner route.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, just taking
There's
out
so much
replicants
potential there.
all day long, taking out replicants.
Especially after 2049 showed us the remnants of, what was it, Vegas or something? Where do they go at the end of the movie? And it's all like a desert and it's
where Harrison Ford's hiding out at?
right?
Yeah.
That was that movie did so much world building.
It
Yes.
did.
And
It did.
I was like, I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
And so, open world video game Blade Runner, that's it.
Definitely. I thought of that, and I'm like, all right, just taking out replicants, but that would get mighty old, mighty quick. And then I couldn't think of what else you would do. in
Joy,
that world.
there's the joy things. It's the only way you'll ever own your own joy.
Yeah.
And make me dinner.
What about you, Leslie? Anything you can think off the top of your head?
I was thinking of the Old Kingdom series by Garth Nix. It's very, I don't know, not quite medieval, but magic castery type of thing. Yeah.
All right, then.
I'm not doing great at I just read it, but there's so much. It's based on royal family and their different bloodlines, and the main character uses the bells of a necromancer to put down the dead. So they're the opposite of a necromancer. So they actually go into death, and it's a river, and there are different areas of death, and you have to get these higher and more powerful spirits and send them on their way and whatnot. And lots of demons running around, and
Just being demons.
yeah.
You think of anything else besides Blade Runner?
You remember that Ryan Reynolds movie Buried?
Yeah.
That would be my runner-up.
Okay, then. All right, then.
If you can get out of the coffin, it's a whole open world, baby.
I actually did see this guy on YouTube. They, of course, on the PC they have the mods for Grand Theft Auto, and they did a zombie apocalypse type deal. Where you have to, and a Walking Dead type setup would be pretty cool, where they have to, you have to scavenge the land for supplies and stuff, and take out zombies, of course.
Okay.
The cars, because they had it set up to where when you get into a car, you can't just drive it around all the time, because it's you have to find fuel for it and everything.
Yeah.
And eventually, sometimes it'll break down, of course, after a certain amount of time. And
See, too much of this shit just feels like life.
yeah,
Right.
That's what I don't like. It's
Right.
My side quest is getting another job and paying bills.
Right.
I literally just saw. I was at Target, and they had the board games, and they had the Game of Life.
Yeah.
And it
It's just
said
way different now.
Yeah, it said now with crippling debt. I was like, what?
Oh, okay.
Too real.
That has got to be depressing playing that.
Wow.
You fall into
Feeling
debt.
personally attacked right now?
I just can't do anything right.
It's I play games to escape my trials and tribulations. I don't want to jump right back into some more. Imagine being that dude with all the student loan debt in the game, and you're just the whole game you can't get ahead. It's
Knock everything off the board and walk away.
It's too real. This shit's too real. Go ahead and wind this business down. Leslie, what you been checking out lately? What you been on?
Oh, I just finished binging The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
Yeah. How's that?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Huh?
So good. Yes. Definitely more of the creepy psychological horror than any sort of like slasher type of thing.
Word.
Very good. I've been playing Skyrim recently because that's what I do. I play old games, apparently. And I'm looking into getting some mods going for that. And yeah.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
That's it. Brian, what you been checking out lately?
Let's see. Well, I just had a chance to play the new Super Mario Party last weekend
Okay.
with some friends. That went over really well. Once my friends kind of learned how to play it.
Yeah.
By my friends, I mean my wife really had a hard time with it, but she talked over the instructions.
Absolutely.
And I said, I got no sympathy. You're not going to know what you're doing, and that's going to be on you. Well,
Yep.
it was on me when we ended up in a pair versus pair mini game.
Yeah.
And man, did that not go well. But and then the real messed up thing is that the star system in this game. It turned out she won the whole thing. I was like, she did nothing to earn that. I just want to throw that out there.
Paper champion is what she is.
But it's a real blast. Like I had a lot of fun with it. So.
Nice. Javon, what you been checking out lately?
Well, I just picked up Ant-Man and the Wasp recently.
that is out of
Nice.
stores.
That's
now,
like
yeah.
essentially Marvel's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Plot-wise, it like plays out like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like Ant-Man essentially is like escaping.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's escaping house arrest or whatever, going out having this big adventure,
That government
trying to
dude
get back
is the
in
principal.
before he gets caught and everything. And like,
All right.
yeah, I watched. I
It's
did,
eventually Lily Sloan.
yeah. I binged Maniac on Netflix.
How is it?
That was really good. Really good. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna be an Emmy machine. I'm pretty sure. Like
Okay.
the
People still
performance Jonah.
remember it.
Yeah. Jonah Hill and Emma Stone, their performances were like just top notch.
All right. Jonah Hill's been killing it. He's got
Yeah.
that. He's got mid-90s.
Looked like he did that Christian Bale machinist diet for this
Yeah,
one too. Like,
yeah.
Cat looks
Yeah.
really slim.
Look at
Yeah.
he's felt these.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm with it. All right, I guess that's it, man. I think that's everything. So appreciate, like I said earlier, you Patreon people donating. Hope you guys enjoy the show. We'll be back with another show in a month, and hopefully we'll have less weird topics to talk about. Until then, you guys take it easy. We'll see you next month.